of South Korea is on his maiden visit to India, and this has led to signing of joint declaration to resume the negotiations of comprehensive economic partnership agreement with our Prime Minister in New Delhi itself. But this is not the only highlight. There have been 4 MOUs of cooperation across industries, and the highlight here is the defense collaboration, which is going to be upgraded and advanced. But the question here is, why India is signing so many defense deals? What exactly is South Korea offering India? What is India offering to South Korea? And most importantly, why this defense collaboration means a lot for India. So let us try to understand all of this in today's session. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi Splash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh, and today we are going to decipher that how this maiden visit by South Korean president is not just important for India but also South Korea and all the dimensions around it. So beginning with understanding that how India and South Korea are strategically very important for each other. Now, in this particular visit itself, there have been 4 MOUs that have been signed, and another key highlight has been that there has been a target that has been taken up to expand the bilateral trade from $27 billion to $50 billion by 2030. Yes, this is true that the trade surplus is enjoyed by South Korea, but this expansion leaves a lot of room for scope of improvement for India as well. And this will provide India for diversification in exports and imports across 15 plus sectors. So in this context, India gets a lot to gain. How? This is where India will find better access to advanced technology and also manufacturing ecosystems from where India can learn and implement, which is much more required to sectors which are up and coming, such as semiconductors, such as electronics, EV batteries, and older sectors which can use a boost such as shipbuilding and steel. This will help us to reduce the constant dependence that we have on China in terms of enabling the supply for raw materials, for technology, and also the whole ecosystem in itself. But when we are looking at India's strategic gains, it is not just India which is set to gain, it is also a win situation for South Korea, because South Korea is in this because it gets access to a fast growing economy like India, where they have already a trade surplus advantage which I was talking about. And most importantly, they are also looking towards somebody reliable. US has been an unreliable partner in last 2 years. When we are looking towards Europe, the market has limited scope of development, and this is where the tide turns towards India. And furthermore, there is more benefits such as energy securities, because naphtha is being imported from India only, which ensures enablement in South Korea. There is more option of expansion which are being developed in India in form of industrial corridors. So all of these led to multiple emerging areas of cooperation. One of the major one being the defense collaboration, where we have been associated with South Korea over phase 1, phase 2, but now we are moving towards phase 3. We will be talking about this in detail. We are also looking towards India and Korea digital bridge, where we enhance our cooperation in terms of artificial intelligence, semiconductors, and towards energy security in form of clean energy, nuclear energy, and most importantly, critical minerals in itself. Now, this is where we shift our understanding and the focus of the session towards the defense collaboration and cooperation. So, if you look at it, this is the 3rd phase that India and South Korea are planning, and in this collaboration, it is not going to be just about howitzers, it is also going to focus on collaboration for anti-aircraft guns, missile defense, and also how to manage and how to handle anti-drone systems. So in this context, when we look at it, this must give you a preview into the fact that recently, if you look at it, India has been signing a lot of defense deals. Why is that so? We have so many problems in front of us, but why are we focusing on expenditure in terms of defense? So when we look at this scenario, clearly get to see that as of now, our security environment is changing. The dual front threat that we have and this is multiplied by evolving technology that needs to be catered. So the security perception has heightened and the risk around it are more. So it becomes very important for India to ensure not just the defense but also the capabilities in order to address an attack or an uncertain environment. Just like we saw back last year when we are talking about Operation Sindoor. Another bigger factor coming into the picture why India is signing so many defense deals is that we have to ensure strategic autonomy. Now, how strategic autonomy comes into the picture? Over the years, we have had over dependence on Russia when we are talking about defense imports to our country, and this became a problem, especially post-Ukraine war. And that is why we want to diversify. We want defense deals with France, we have defense deals with Israel, we have defense deals with South Korea. Furthermore, the idea of just importing defense equipments is also going through a structural change where we want to focus on indigenous manufacturing, we want to focus on technology transfer, we want to focus on negative import list so as to ensure that we are not constantly dependent. We are also enhancing our capabilities. So that is why a lot of focus is on technology transfer, assembling, etc. And if we ensure this push, this will also help us in terms of export ambitions. We are already exporting, our defense exports are rising, and as of now we are seeing a very positive number as compared to before. So in this regard, now we bring the defense collaboration with South Korea, which we are supposedly entering in terms of phase 3. Now that leads to a question, what about phase 1 and phase 2? But before moving to phase 1 and phase 2, let us also look at how India is evolving in terms of defense expenditure, because if we look at the most recent defense budget that has been given in the budget of 2026-27, it has been of 7.85 lakh crore, a huge upgrade from last year itself, which puts India amongst the top 3 global defense spenders. And if you look at the numbers, we clearly see the capital budget of armed forces has seen a huge increase. So that means the capital investment where we are creating assets, that is also increasing in this very context. And this is what marks the policy shift, that our increased allocation is also towards domestic procurement, private sector participation, and this can be only helped when there is better technology access, which we are ensuring through the defense deals I was talking about. Now moving towards South Korea phase 1. So when we are talking about the deals with South Korea in phase 1, it was a phase where we focused merely on transactional procurement, where there was whole import of defense system and local participation was extremely limited. So you can clearly see here that the whole idea was that somehow to quickly build the capability, because the capability was absolutely not present, so we had to import the capability. Phase 2 came in where we talked about localization and joint production, and the flagship project was K9 Vajra T, which was based on K9 Thunder of South Korea. Now this is a 152 mm 52 caliber self-propelled howitzer, as I said, based on K9 Thunder of South Korea. Now this was brought in and it was manufactured and assembled in India, and gradual increase in indigenous content was made. Who were the manufacturers of these components? Lawson and Turbo, and also technology was coming from Hanwha Aerospace. So in this context, we clearly get to see that the collaboration was focused on with more emphasis on indigenous content. So finally, we were just buyer initially, we became an assembler, and gradually we moved towards manufacturing as well. And K9 Vajra T remains a great example that how it adapted not just for desert area but high altitude in Ladakh, and this is a very good example that you can use for successful localization of defense equipment. And now this is where we are marking phase 3, where we will have movement of cooperation into a further enhanced form of collaboration and indigenous production as well. So the key features here are co-development and co-design. We don't want you to tell us the technology, we want to design the technology with you. The research and development of the next generation systems will be done together. The next gen systems are anti-aircraft guns, missile defense system, and also counter drone technologies. So the movement from buyer to assembler to manufacturer, now we want to be the initiator, the seller, the designer. So the technology is also ours as much as it is South Korea's. And this is where we get to see the advanced level of cooperation coming in, where the core design capabilities would be focused on, the domains would be addressing the changing threat perceptions such as cyber security, telecom technology, and as I said, which marks the step in of innovation partnership. Now this is where we clearly get to understand why South Korea is a key partner for India, because strong defense manufacturing system can be extremely helpful in expanding our industrial defense manufacturing base. We already have proven platforms. K9 is a very good example, naval systems very good example, and also the willingness of the country to collaborate with us to help us with technology transfer, which is not present with our Western partners. For example, France, look at the Rafale deal, we get to see the willingness is absolutely missing. And we also complement each other in terms of strategic interests, specifically about the Indo-Pacific region. So this is a synergy that is coming well across the pointers, and this is what India is looking for. Because when we are looking at this partnership, we clearly get to see that this will not just enable our military modernization, it will help us in industrial ecosystem boost, be it the defense corridors. Can you tell me in the comment section which are the defense corridors across our country? Furthermore, this will also help us in terms of MSME participation and its enhancement. And two important points where India needs to push through to ensure that we actually become Atmanirbhar is ensure supply chain diversification. Wherever the raw materials are coming from, they are coming from different places, so that if one place is also blocked, we are not suffering in terms of raw material. So we need to reduce dependence on single supplier and export potential. This is what India has been looking for since independence, to push through it. And this is going to give us an entry into the global defense landscape itself. Now we have understood all about it, but what do you think? Is it going to be an easy road? What are the challenges that India can face in this context? Let me know in the comment section. Think from the perspective of a mains answer. Write down the pointers in the comment section. I'll be waiting for your answers. Now I'll be leaving you here with the prelims practice question. You can easily answer it if you have understood what we have been discussing. Let me know the answer in the comment section. That was all from my side. Thank you so much.